Hello, folks. It's Thursday, September 12. It's almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the West Coast of the United States. In this video, we'll be looking at the gold stocks. Let me share my screen and we'll get going. So big day in the metals today. This is gold in the daily time frame. So we gained, what did we gain? $47. $47 today, 1.89%. Obviously, that's a big move. Impulsive price bar. So price closing very near the high of the day. That's an indication of high energy, which you look at that bar and you can tell that it's clearly high energy. So big move in gold today. I noticed this morning when I was looking at the chart, if we just take a simple trend line and draw it along the bottom of these price bars, and when I draw simple trend lines, I try to catch as many of the bars as I can. And so I draw this line and then I copy and I paste it and I go and look for, is there a price channel? And I've been doing charts long enough that I could see that there's price channel. And so anyway, we've clearly got a price channel going here in gold, and that gives us a price target up here at $2,600 or so. And of course, $2,600 is a round number, and so that's a likely price target that we're headed for. Have to caveat here that price is very overbought based on the moving averages. Look at the distance between the 50 and the 200-day moving averages. I mean, the price is very overbought in gold. So, but I think with everything that's going on, both financially and geopolitically, that this is probably a solid breakout in gold. And, we're going to continue higher, even though price is currently already overbought. Some of the things that I've read today, people are suggesting that the metals gold is reacting to the idea that interest rates will be lowered on the 18th, what's that, 6 days next week, that expectations of at least a quarter of a point cut in rates and maybe a 0.5%. I don't think that's going to happen. But I don't want to go off on that tangent. And so anyway, in my opinion, we're not going to see a rate cut next week, but it wouldn't be the first time that I was wrong. So anyway, here's silver again, another big day today. What do we get? $1.21, 4.22%. So big move in silver. Through most of the session today, price was pushing up into resistance at the upper median line. This is a shift pitchfork. Clearly was acting as resistance during today's session. Notice that price pushed up through that resistance and closed above that level. And then further, this is the overnight session, that little green bar that we're seeing there. Price is continuing higher and, more importantly, is above resistance at that median line. So very, very positive action in silver. When I was looking at this chart earlier today, I made this comment that the moving averages were about to go into bullish alignment. And bullish alignment is when the 50, that's the red line, is above the 200. And then the 20-day moving average is above the 50. And so, this morning I made this comment. It wasn't clear yet that the moving averages had done that trick, but clearly they have. So anyway, very nice action in silver. We can look at the indicators. Yeah, stochastics, that's my measurement of energy, very elevated energy. MACD, we're in bull mode. Well, not quite in bull mode. So we've got the indicator line up above the zero level, the moving average not quite there yet. And of course, bull mode is suggestive of the primary trend being to the upside. So another positive indication in silver is that we're about to be in bull mode based on MACD. Let's back up and do the same thing for gold. Yeah, elevated energy, clearly in bull mode. These lines in MACD, MACD is not a bounded indicator. It can go to infinity in either direction, but quite often we'll see that prior highs and lows in the MACD indicator act as reversal levels, that MACD gets up to this level and then price will reverse. But notice that we're nowhere close to that that level in MACD. So anyway, again, suggestive of, even though gold is overbought, it's still headed up to this next target at 2,600. So my proxy for the mining stocks, and there are 2,000 mining stocks, and so it's too many stocks to keep track of. And of course, most of them are penny stocks that are never going to do anything. And so as a technical analyst, when I'm looking at mining stocks, I want just a quick, hey, let me, a minute or less, let me look and see what the mining stocks are doing. And so GDXJ is my proxy for the entire mining stock sector, 2,000 stocks. And what I'm showing here in this slide is I'm acknowledging that GDXJ is not a good proxy of the mining stocks. It's not, I don't know that there's a better one, but it's not a great proxy for the mining stocks, but it is the proxy that I use. It's the junior, the J stands for junior. And so this particular ETF, GDXJ, it's billed as a junior mining stock ETF. But look, this is the top 10 components in the ETF. It makes up almost 42% of the overall value of that ETF. None of these stocks are junior miners. If you go down to the bottom of the list, there's some juniors in there. The threshold for me is about 300 million. And so when a stock gets above market cap of 300 million or so, I still refer to it as a junior, but I'd much rather refer to it as an emerging producer, a junior producer. But anyway, point being, this is not by any means a junior ETF. So, the official definition of large cap is $10 billion. And so clearly we've got two stocks in this ETF that are large cap. And the smallest one in the top 10 is almost 5 billion. So again, certainly not junior stocks, but that's my proxy. So this is GDXJ daily time frame. Big move in this vehicle today, which it's not surprising. It's reacting to the big moves in the metals, and so we can see that 6.6% gain. That's a huge huge move. Big gap on the open. Obviously, that's indicative of elevated energy. Impulsive price bar. Impulsive because it's large, more so than having it close essentially at the top of the price range. It pulled back a little bit towards the end of the session. Notice that it's pushing up into resistance at the upper median line of this. This is a modified shift pitchfork. So the mining stocks do have some overhead resistance to work through. Has to get through that median line, get through this prior peak, get through this prior peak. So we don't have clear sailing yet for the mining stocks, but very elevated energy today, overbought based on the moving averages. And again, look at the distance between the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. So quite overbought on a price basis. Elevated energy based on stochastics. MACD, we're about to get a new buy signal in MACD, and MACD is about to move into bull mode, which again would suggest that the primary trend is to the upside. And I just noticed that we've potentially got a pitchfork that we could draw to look at the bullish potential bull move in this vehicle. Yeah, that doesn't really blow my skirt up. So let's not spend any more time with that. But anyway, nice action in the mining stocks, daily time frame. This is the accumulation distribution indicator, and we can see that investors have been accumulating GDXJ shares for, what is that, most of the year. Well, not most of the year, last couple of months. Anyway, last couple of months, people have been accumulating shares of GDXJ. Let's move on. Weekly time frame. This chart's kind of sloppy. There's not really a lot to say here. Elevated energy again, accumulation going on, bull mode in MACD, not quite on a buy signal yet, but it looks like we might be about to get one. Notice that very overbought based on MACD, based on the prior peaks in MACD. So let's keep rolling. The monthly, this is more interesting, and so it's been a while since I've shared or talked about the mining stocks in a video, and so I was playing with this chart over the past weekend, wanting to say something about the mining stocks. And these fan lines, so this is a technical analysis technique that's most useful to determine when a vehicle, whatever it is, an individual stock, in this case, it's the ETF, this technique's applicable to any chart that you want to look at. So coming out of a bear market, when is it safe to buy? If you're a conservative investor, when is it safe to buy? And the idea is this first fan line is drawn from this peak and this peak, and you wait for price to push through there, and then the second fan line is the next peak, which is that price bar, and then the third fan line is from the next peak, which is here. And then when price breaks through that fan line, the generally accepted idea is that's when it's back, the vehicle, whatever it is we're looking at, has moved out of bear mode and back into bull mode. And so notice that we're not quite there yet. And that's part of the reason that I'm starting with, I'm doing this video today with the mining stocks instead of focusing on the metals, because I know from my own experience, when we get a big move like this in the metals today, it's like, ooh, I want to go buy some mining stocks. And I'm urging caution, be patient. Let's make sure that this is really a solid move in the metals and that it's going to hold, and that the mining stocks are going to move back into a bull market. And so what I'm waiting to see is price to push up through that third fan line, and that we get some volume coming in. We want to see some volume rising as price is rising. The volume confirms the price action, and we don't have that yet. And so again, I would urge patience. A lot of positive stuff going on, in this chart. If we focus on last month's candle, this is August here, where I've got my cursor, that vertical, you can't see me pointing at my screen. That vertical line, that's the candle for August. That's a doji candlestick, and dojis are always indicative of elevated energy. So that's a very positive sign here in the monthly time frame, that we got that doji last month, and now it appears that we're following through in September with a move higher. This in gray, this light gray rectangle, and I've got it labeled as an energy coil. I've talked about those in the past. Dr. Timothy Morge, he was my mentor for Andrew's pitchforks, and one of the techniques that he taught was the energy coil. And the way he described it is that price is gathering energy. You can think about it as a spring or a coil that is getting twisted tighter and tighter. And then when the spring lets go, the price action out of that energy coil is likely to be impulsive. We can't predict in which direction price will move, but it appears that in this case, it's moving higher. And so anyway, another bullish indicator is that we've got this energy coil. Price has been gathering energy for, what's that, 2, 4, 5 months. So 5 months been basically in a sideways consolidation, gathering energy for its next move, potentially moving higher. During a consolidation, we want to see volume back off. And that's exactly what we've got going on, is that volume has declined during this consolidation. And so that's confirmation that this is a good thing. So bullish action there. And then in the price channel, we've got a gentle upslope going on since late 2015. When we look at the gold charts and the silver charts, I'll do those videos. I might not get to them this evening, but I'll do them tomorrow. If I don't, we'll see that late 2015 was the end of the previous bear market. It's about a 4-year bear market. Got a pretty good pop in 2020, but the big bear market ended in 2015. And since that point, we've had this gentle upslope. And again, we take that trend line, we duplicate it, and we find the price channel. There's the top of the price channel. So let's look at the indicators. Elevated energy, MACD in bull mode on a buy signal. Accumulation distribution is not very exciting in this time frame, but it is what it is. So, but that's bullish. MACD in bull mode, suggestive that the primary trend is to the upside. So nice, just overall nice action in the big time frame. Again, patience. If you just got to go buy mining stocks, we're gonna look at two. And again, I'm not recommending that we buy mining stocks at this point. I'm not buying. So just full disclosure here, I'm not buying mining stocks yet. Any new purchases. I've got a portfolio of mining stocks, but not making new purchases yet. This is Wheaton Precious Metals in the monthly time frame. It's a royalty and streaming company. Clearly has broken higher. This is back in July, and then a big move in August, big bullish move. That's we could describe that as a bull hammer, and you can see that lower wick, that's the handle of the hammer, and then the body of the candle, the green body there, that's the head of the hammer. And so bull hammer, that's Japanese candlestick terms. And then so far in September, we've got this doji. I describe that as a doji candlestick. Notice that it is finding support at the top of this. Well, so far, we can't really describe this as a support resistance zone because it hadn't proven itself as support. It's proven itself as resistance. It's resistance here, it's resistance here. It appears that we've broken through and are now testing that level as support. Anyway, positive action there. from Andrew's pitchfork terms, we can talk about that. Whenever price moves through, let me see how we're doing on time. Oh, I forgot to start my timer. When price moves through a median line, the next price target, when you're working with Andrew's pitchforks, is always the next median line. And so that would give us a price target up at, $74, $75, something like that. So price target up at the top of that median line. Let's look at the indicators. Elevated energy, MACD in bull mode on a buy signal. Got a ways to go before we become overbought based on MACD. Accumulation distribution looks like people are buying shares of this vehicle. So just nice action in Wheaton. Royalty and streaming company, they've got money coming through the door. One of the key things about the royalty and streaming companies is they're lower risk. So they've got exposure to both gold and silver, but they're not taking the direct risk of pulling metal out of the ground. Mining is a high risk endeavor, but the royalty companies, they get the best of both worlds. They get exposure to the prices of gold and silver without as much risk. So Royal Gold, again, royalty and streaming company. This is the monthly time frame. Another technique that I learned from Dr. Morge, he referred to it as double the range. And so quite often when you see a vehicle moving in a range, and it doesn't matter whether the range is horizontal, as it is in this case, or slanted, I'll have a better example of that when we look at the metals. But in this case, we've got a horizontal range. And so we take the width of that range and then we duplicate or move. Basically, I copy this line and I paste it up here, and that gives us our next price target, which in this case, it's about $175. So that's a price target based on double the range. Again, bullish action last month, that's a bull hammer. Bull hammer going on this month, and notice that both last month's candle and this month's candle have pushed up above this resistance zone. So nice price action. Let's see, let's look at the indicators. Elevated energy, MACD, bull mode, buy signal, lots of room to run before it becomes overbought based on MACD. Yeah, kind of steady on accumulation distribution. So just some real nice action. If you just got money burning a hole in your pocket and you got to buy mining stocks, those are the only two that I'm going to recommend or would recommend. I'm not recommending. I'm not a financial advisor. I gave up I was an registered investment advisor. That's the SEC official designation. And I gave up that designation. So I can't give you financial advice. But if you were going to buy mining stocks, Royal Gold, Wheaton Precious Metals, that's all I've got in this video, folks. Like I said, we'll take a closer look at both gold and silver, the longer term charts. I've got some juicy price targets. It's fun. What do you do as a technical analyst? And as an investor? I mean, more importantly, I don't get paid for being a technical analyst, but I'm a big time gold and silver bull, more silver than gold. But anyway, in the next videos, we'll be looking at the metals, and I'll talk to you soon.